Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 29th, and here we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. Check out that low pressure center now moving down off the coast of California. Still spreading some moisture back north. It's going to clip portions of eastern Oregon, Idaho, and Montana over the next couple of days. Some snowfall for the higher terrain. Seattle did not get much rain yesterday at all. Had some virga overhead. You probably saw that out there yesterday. Here we're kind of in this offshore flow on the backside of this low pressure center. More clouds over Oregon, keeping the temperatures down again a bit today. We should warm up into the 50s though quite nicely across some areas west of the Cascades and even some portions of eastern Washington, Oregon. If you look out here to the northwest though, we've got some much colder air that's going to be arriving here as we go on in towards Friday and the weekend coming up. Chance of thunderstorms with that. We'll take a look at that in the extended forecast as well. Here we go, Seattle yesterday, 59 degrees, 3 degrees above average. Nice, it was fairly warm yesterday. No precipitation there, so a couple days above average here. We're probably going to do that again today and possibly tomorrow as well before the cool down comes here as we go towards the end of the week. Here's current hazards. We still have some winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories for portions of Idaho, Montana, Wyoming here as this moisture continues to wrap around that storm system impacting California as we speak. Now we're looking here, 12 kilometer. This is infrared satellite imagery simulated here. You can see the low pressure down there, spinning that moisture back up to the north. But we get a decent day out of today and into tomorrow morning, maybe one more nice day across the region before we start to introduce those clouds from that colder air moving down across the Gulf of Alaska, as you can see there. Here we go on into Saturday, and you can clearly see the showery activity, potential for a thunderstorm or two across the area. And as we go into Sunday, similar thing there, as you can see the cumuliform clouds over the region. Now we're looking at the UW model here. If you look closely, there's Alaska, BC, Washington, Oregon. There's this low pressure center off the California coastline. This continues to sag off to the south and east. Then look at this tongue of cold air move across the Gulf of Alaska into the Pacific Northwest here. That's our next weather maker here, as you see this pretty chilly upper level low developing right over the top of the Pacific Northwest here, and that's going to continue on a bit in this cooler northwest flow as we go on into next week before additional systems look like they're going to develop across the Pacific Ocean here. We'll watch those closely and try to nail down those impacts as we go. But right now through this weekend, we do have a chance of some thunderstorms across the area. This is looking at 100-meter wind speed. This is that low pressure center sliding down to the south and east, and then you can clearly see that next system start to arrive here as we go through the day. Friday, frontal system passes across western BC, western Washington, Oregon, sagging south as it does on through Saturday as that cold air ushers into the area as we get a strong onshore flow, as you can see by the time we get towards Saturday afternoon. Here we go with the European sea level pressure map with that low pressure center off the Northern California coastline here. And you can see some of the moisture still being spread back north up across Idaho and Montana as we go on through Thursday morning there. There's Thursday afternoon, continuing to see some snowfall across the higher terrain of Idaho and Montana, western Wyoming here. And then that next system starts to arrive as we go through Saturday. Some mountain snows for western BC. Washington will eventually sag south across Oregon as well as we go on to Saturday morning there. As we go into Saturday afternoon, you can see that cold air aloft across the region there. And this is good because we're going to build up some snowpack and we could use it here because I'm going to show the extended forecast all the way out to the summer at the end of the video here and see what that shows here in a moment. Look at the lightning flash density potential. As we go on in through Saturdays, when really the first chance of thunderstorms start to show up here. Now we're going to go, this is European of last night's, by the way. And by the time we get to Saturday early afternoon, you can see the potential across some of western BC, western Washington, even eastern Washington there as that cold air moves in aloft here. And that's going to go on in through Sunday and possibly Monday as well. This is looking at total snow, 10-to-1 ratio here on last night's European run. And here we go with that moisture kind of spreading back up northward with that storm system off the coast of California, impacting Idaho, Montana, some of the Blue Mountains, because getting some of that wraparound moisture here as we go through Thursday as well, before that continues to track off to the east. Then the next system will rise. You can see it dropping snow across western BC as we go through Friday. It'll be increasing on the day and afternoon, evening on the day Friday, and start to sag south as we go through very early Saturday morning here, dropping some decent snowfall amounts across the Cascades, even the coastal range of Oregon Oregon. Washington getting some nice snowfall as well. Vancouver Island, the Blue Mountains, another dose of snowfall here, northeast Washington. Typical higher elevation areas. Now we're looking at 6-hour, 2-meter temperature max. So we go through the day today, and you can see western Washington, Oregon up into the 50s here, maybe a little bit above average for western Washington, close to average here for western Oregon, warming up a bit here for some of the lower elevations of eastern Washington. The cloud cover will keep things cool here across Idaho and Montana as you go through the day today and tomorrow on in through Thursday. But look at Thursday for eastern Washington, warming up quite nicely there for some areas. You can get up towards the upper 60s. Maybe one more somewhat warm day, or at least towards average here for western Washington, Oregon, before we really start to cool down on Friday. Look at this, maybe not getting out of the 40s here. You know, not too bad for eastern Washington, a little bit warmer there, but you can see the definite cool down coming for the Pacific Northwest here. And here we go on into Saturday. Again, maybe not getting out of the 40s for much of western Washington, Oregon there as well. So the cool down definitely coming here after today and tomorrow. This is Seattle. You can see definitely the warmest day today, up towards 60 degrees possibly. Thursday, maybe up into the 50s, maybe some mid-50s showing up before the cool down comes as we go through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. This is Portland. Today probably being the warmest day. Thursday, one more day into the 50s before the cool down comes. Here we go, Spokane, close to 50 here, maybe some low 50s here today and tomorrow before a cool down with that upper level trough as well. Look at Helena, Montana out here though, staying cool with the moisture and that storm moving back up over Idaho and Montana. Going to keep things chilly out there. Look at some of these overnight lows down into the teens potentially here with the arrival of this cold air as we go on in through the weekend and on in through early next week. This is looking up towards 10,000 feet here. So I'll put this into motion. There goes that storm system that's impacting California. And look at this slug of cold air moving into the Pacific Northwest as we go through Friday, Saturday, just kind of hanging out. That cool northwesterly flow is going to be with us probably on in towards early to mid next week coming up here. And we'll keep checking this forecast here as we go day by day to see what additional systems look like you're going to develop here across the Pacific Ocean. But you can clearly see this cold air aloft moving over the region here this weekend. Here we go, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Big bullseye here on the west coast. This goes through April 7th. This is the 8 to 14 day west coast of the USA. You got the yin and yang thing going on here with much warmer conditions across the southeast portion of the USA and colder than normal for Alaska likely as well. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook through April 7th. You can see that kind of the bullseye here on California. This is the 8 to 14 day. And just a little bit above average here, maybe. We'll see how that trends here as we go through April 11th. Now, this is looking at seasonal temperature outlook. This is for June. You can see some above average temperatures starting to encroach on Idaho and Montana here. Now, watch what happens as we go on in towards July. Look at this. You start to include the entire west coast here in some above average potential here as we go through the summer. Now look at August here. That's a little bit of a stronger signal. And I got to remind you, we are just talking about probability at this point. Doesn't mean for sure we're going to get an above average summer here or a hot summer, but it's looking potentially like that may be the case here. This is September as well, again with that above average temperature outlook here. Now this is October, West Coast included again. So yeah, we have that to look forward to, and that's why I'm kind of hoping that we can build up this snowpack across the area here to try to protect our region here from a possibly warm summer here coming towards the Pacific Northwest. So we'll see how that trends. That will be updated every month. We'll take a look at that again sometime in mid-April, and we'll see how things are trending there as well. But you can see that next system out here across western Alaska is going to be headed our way. And yeah, so enjoy today and tomorrow if you can get out there and do that. And yeah, so we'll watch that extended forecast coming up here as always. Hope you guys are having a good day. If you guys want a weather station, check out that link below. You can click on it. Make sure that code is in there for West Coast weather to get 10% off. I highly recommend the weather station. It's all solar powered, very easy to set up. The app is great. It stores all your data for you. It does solar radiation, UV index. It's got an ultrasonic anemometer. It's got a haptic rain gauge. And it's got smart integration, so it works with other stations around it. And the thermometer is quite accurate. The barometer is very accurate as well. So yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised with this weather station. So if you really need one, I highly recommend it. Go out and get one. Click on the link below. It gives me a couple bucks here and helps support the channel. So anyway, we will do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.